Hey family and friends, I wasn't expecting to make another video like this. I was never hoping to have to make another video like this, but as you can tell from the caption, and I'm pretty sure people have seen posts that family and friends have been making about me, but I just wanted to make a video myself to update family and whoever else, because I have a huge family as like before with the last video. It just made it easier to be able to tell people that way. But as you all know, back in 2019 I was diagnosed with breast cancer in both my breasts. I had a double mastectomy. I went through chemo and radiation, and then after I was done with that, I did preventative measures, just like medication and stuff like that, monthly shots, to prevent it from coming back. On July 6th of this year, I ended up in the hospital with a back injury, and they did a CT and an x-ray, and they found that I have spots. That's what they called them, was spots. They saw spots in both of my hips, various parts in my spine, I believe like 4 spots, not all in one same area. They're all on a different bone, and then a spot in my lung that has possibly caused pleural edema, which is fluid in my lungs. There was a lot of confusion while I was in the hospital. Nothing was really made clear until I was about to get discharged, and my mom, Shauna, questioned the nurse practitioner and told her, like, no one has spoken to us yet or told us what is going on, that there was just spots. Like, what do spots mean? And so the nurse practitioner made it very clear. She apologized to us profusely and verified that the spots mean that I have cancer. Where those spots are pretty much cancer. And in that moment, I didn't want to believe it. I really didn't. My brother requested to see the scans, so the nurse practitioner brought in her computer, let him look at the scans. Obviously I was crying. I was devastated, because that's not something you want to hear, because you thought you just hurt your back, but then you end up finding out it's much worse than just hurting your back. My brother got done looking at the scans and sat next to me, and I asked him, how does it look? And he looked back at me and he says, do you want me to be honest? And I said yes. And he just told me that it looks bad. On July 25th, my oncologist ordered a biopsy. I got a biopsy taken out of my hip from the back side of my hip. And then this past Tuesday, I had a follow-up with him to go over the results of the biopsy. And me being impatient that I am, a week before that, I already looked in my patient portal and knew I had metastatic carcinoma. When I read that, it didn't seem as bad as I thought it was, but I should have known that it was pretty bad. Basically, what metastatic carcinoma is cancer has spread through your body from its original area of where it started. So mine would be in my breasts. I went to my follow-up with my oncologist this past Tuesday. He explained how they looked over the biopsy. What they do is they study the cell, or they look at the cancer cells to see what type of cancer it is. There's various ways they do it. And he said that these cancer cells that they took from my hip are consistent with what breast cancer cells look like. So he told me that I have stage 4 breast cancer. And obviously I was not ready to hear that. I had metastatic carcinoma stuck in my head, and I was trying to prepare myself, but you don't really prepare yourself to hear that you have stage 4 breast cancer or stage 4 cancer in general. You just don't. He then proceeded to tell me that since it has spread throughout my body, that means that it has entered into my blood. And since it has entered into my blood, there's no cure and there's no surgery to try to remove it, to get rid of it. What they can do is come up with a treatment to halt it or stop it in its tracks, to stop from spreading. I will always have cancer. It's just a matter of treatment, of making sure it doesn't go anywhere else, making sure it doesn't spread, and just keeping it where it's at. And I think that's the very scary part, is knowing that I don't have a cure for myself. It all just depends on the treatment and how my body takes it. If my body goes well with the treatment, then I believe that's what we'll stick to. But as for right now, I don't have a course of treatment, only because he wants to do a bone scan of my whole body, get a PET scan of my whole body, and get a CT with contrast of my brain, because that throughout this whole time, that is one part of my body that we have not had a scan on. And I'm really, 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 really hoping that it hasn't reached there. But at the same time, if it has, then it has. There's nothing I can do about it. My doctor did tell me that I need to take it day by day. Don't delay any of my scans or any treatment that I need. And he told me especially not to let my mind wander, because that's what I sometimes do. Because after he told me all of this, I asked him, I said, what if my body doesn't respond to the treatment? What if it doesn't take the treatment? Does that mean I'm terminal? And at that moment he stopped me and he said, stop. We can't think like that. I don't want you to think like that. Let's not think like that until we get there, if that's where we end up being. He's like, because if you do that, you're just putting yourself in this deep dark hole, and that's not good. He especially told me, once we get there, then that's when we'll deal with it. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to let my mind wander. I'm trying to stay positive. The day that I found out in the hospital that I had cancer, the first thing I said out loud and to myself is that I'm not ready to die, and I'm not ready to go. So with that being said, I'm determined to do anything, any type of treatment, meaning holistic medicine, traditional medicine nowadays, just everything, because it's like I said, I'm not ready to go. I will sure as heck go down with a fight if that's the case, but I'm trying to stay as positive as possible. I've asked everyone around me to stay positive, to have hope, because that's all you can have is hope. Am I scared? I'm terrified. Because with my first diagnosis, I knew what I was going through. I already knew what the course of treatment is. I'm mad. I'm furious. I'm sad. I'm terrified. Because, like I said, I don't know what to expect from this coming treatment. I'm just angry that it's come back. Not only because for my son, but I worked my ass off for the past 2 years in school to become a welder, and now this isn't what I planned. I was supposed to have finished school. I would be moving, hopefully starting a welding job, becoming the most badass welder I could possibly be. But now those dreams are put on hold because of this stupid thing. All I ask from everyone who's watching is to pray for my son. Because when I had to tell him I can feel my heart crumbling. I can hear his shatter. He's been through this before, but this one, I feel like this time around it's a bit harder, and it's going to be harder. The treatment's going to be harsher. The journey is going to be harder. But at the end of all of it, no matter how angry I am, how sad, I'm ready for it.